So how many different kinds of varietals are you?
Well, right now on the farm, planting, producing, we got 4 varieties.
Okay.
We have Gesha, Pacamara, Catuai, and Caturra.
Oh.
But this year, I'm going to try 2 or 3 new ones. A Sidra that comes from Ecuador that Kai brought me the seed. I'll show it to you here.
But there's sort of geisha.
Yes, you saw that.
Yeah, Maliu.
So he discovered some geisha, yellow geisha, on our farm.
Yeah, but
that mutated.
Okay.
So, like in Panama, out of 10 growers, they start because it was a big boom as a grower. Interesting because it's not everything is written on a book.
Yes.
You have to experiment. The same thing.
That's true.
We're experimenting with the processing and all that. But coffee, it doesn't matter what the process you do. It has to come good from the farm.
I was in Seattle. I moved to Seattle in '92 and started a little alternative coffee company. My dad came to visit in we were 91 there together. He saw the specialty coffee boom, and he got really excited to do our own coffee because when you process your coffee, you get to taste it.
Yeah.
But generally, you just sell the cherries, and that's what we were doing before. And then in about 6 months, he built this beneficio, which was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And it was from the start a specialty coffee only beneficio. So supposedly that it was the first beneficio that was specifically for specialty coffee in Central America.
Wow.
So when we were doing that, we were doing estate coffees that we sold in the US and in Canada for the most part. So when the price of coffee in '94 was around 60 to 80, we were actually selling coffee here already at $2.50.
Oh, that's...
Yeah, so that was sort of actually like almost a little bit before Escape even started because we were cupping and doing that from here for a while. So that's where I learned. Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Huele bien. Tengo hambre. This was designed to be like when you're on a ship, the bridge, to look at everything. And then
That's interesting.
so when we first built it, these were lower so you could see the whole
The
whole patio.
Oh, goodness.
So because back then it was all wash coffee that we were producing, that was the biggest thing, was how you create the separations and how you do the fermentations. Back then, naturals and aquapulping were seen as the biggest thing, was how you create the separations and how you do the fermentations. We started working back then, actually with Intelligentsia for the first time, and this is in the 90s, doing special processing in terms of selection of coffees for them. So we would send them different screen sizes of our seconds and then to decide what it is that they wanted. So coffee gets measured here once again, and then it gets dropped in, gets picked up. And so we have several different ways of depulping. Measured here once again, and then it gets dropped in, gets picked up. And so we have several different ways of depulping. Over there we have a demucilage machine, which I'm excited to use.
Okay.
But in essence, these are thirds and fourths that you're seeing here being put in. And then we're doing some special lot fermentation over there on the left-hand side with some coffee that arrived yesterday. And we're lucky because we have spring water that comes from the back of my grandmother's house, which is now, she's passed away, but my aunt's. So there's a lot of springs here. So much water that's a little creek.
Oh, that's good for beneficial.
It is. And then, we'll keep walking around. But this is where we would separate. So here you'd start to get a separation, you'd cut it off, and you'd have first, seconds, and thirds back in the day. Now it's more like first, and then the rest are grouped together and then selected later.
Okay.
And if we wanted to, if we get a pick that we really feel that we need to do something different, we can wash it here, and then it goes straight into the
special
tank. Yeah, so that we can sort of take a look at it going that way.
Yeah.
So we have Gesha, we have Catuai and Caturra and Pacamara here, and we're trying to process more of our Catuai because it turns out really well, but we need our Catuai for the local market so much that it's been hard to get it, so to speak. So most of our coffees here, last year were washed here. This year the difference has been that we have, because we were tight on water and because we saw that the cup difference was actually improved, we've actually not been washing our naturals.
So like you skip the washing step here.
This year we've skipped the washing step on most of them. Yes.
Oh, that's interesting to know. Yeah, it's very important. Like you mentioned, the yeast. Yeah,
yeast
somehow reflects the
terroir. And then I mean I think there's so many different ways of doing it. But yeah, it's so we process coffees for our local market here as well.
Yeah.
So for roasting, etc.
So, like the coffees we just cup are more like the standard process, right?
The darkroom dryers haven't come out. That's our Janson X, and we have those come out later. Open up as we needed to, and depending on the. So this is the Pacamara that's here.
Oh yeah.
So even if it's on the patio, it'll go indoors for a day or two, depending on the coffee. We find it intensifies flavor without losing clarity. And the fun part is we have so many different ways to dry, but I think Franklin, who's our beneficio manager, does a great job.
So this one, for example, is it like a fermentation one? So that
so this has got some
fermentation.
Fermentation. So we have different fermentation. We use bags, we use plastic, like the blue ones, and we also have a stainless steel, and we also do some cooler processes. So the Janson X is interesting because of how it dries, so that it becomes even brighter and better and more complex.
Yeah.
Patio dries tend to be really bright and beautiful right now to save on cost and reuse what we have. And we'll see if the light is open here. This is our cold room. And you will smell the coffee that arrived yesterday from Los Alpes that we're using here because we're going to be doing a special process with it tomorrow.
So
come on in.
So what's the temperature here?
Well, it's supposed to be 17.
Whoa.
So this we found is really helpful in terms of keeping coffees for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
We have some coffees here that are still championship coffees, competition coffees. And then this is something that tomorrow we have time to process.
So this one was picked
last night. Yeah.
And then you let it cool?
We're letting it cool here, yep.
For let's say more than 1 day.
Well, yeah, more than 1 day. Yep, 24 hours. But you can smell that sweetness that's there.
Yes, I can. And then you are going to use those cherry for different...
With this one, we're going to do a special process that I came up with, and we'll see how it works.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's going to be a hybrid wash.
Oh, I love hybrid wash.